Hey, it's us, the Kratt brothers, and we just finished show 2 of Wild Alaska Live. And if you saw it, it's pretty wet out there, so we've come into our headquarters here, our yurt. We got a generator, we got a little light, and this is where we do the planning for the show. And we thought it'd be a great spot to take some of the questions you send in from social media.
All right, so here I've got the first question from Ava. She asks, how large is a full-grown brown bear in comparison to a full-grown human? Well, brown bears are huge. The biggest can get about 10 feet tall. So that's quite a bit taller than a human. They can get to from 1,200 to 1,500 pounds. And if you think that, say, the average human weighs how much do you think? Maybe
Like 100,
200 pounds. Let's just say a big one, 200 pounds. That's 6 times the human's weight. So pretty big.
Yeah. All right, you got another one?
I got another one from Kelly.
2.
How are you keeping safe with the animals all around you? Well, you know, we've been working around bears a lot. We know how to act calmly around one if you see them. We never approach the bears. You know, we give them their space, but sometimes if they come to us, we back off calmly and let them pass.
Yeah. Now, okay, here we got a question from Mylika. She asks, is Alaska freezing cold all of the time? Well, if this is a summer day and you saw the show, it was pretty cold. Like, look what we're wearing. It's July. But no, there can be some really warm and hot days in the summer. And on those, the brown bears, they don't even like to wander around. They just like dig a hole in the sand and lie in there and get the cool sand on them. So no, summers can be nice and warm. Now, Stephanie asks a question. What do you actually pack if you're going to Alaska? You got to be prepared for everything. It can be hot, it can be cold. We have our rain gear. You know, you got to be prepared for a changing environment here because it's a land of extremes.
Hey, I've got a funny question here from Allison. She asks, have you been attacked by giant mosquitoes in Alaska? Well, you know, actually, the mosquitoes haven't been so bad here. You know, you hear a lot of stories about mosquitoes in Alaska, and definitely up north, you know, the caribou herds have to worry about them when they're on their migration route. But here, where we are, it hasn't been so bad at all.
Although, you know, one of the worst mosquitoes we ever encountered was when we were filming Wild Ponies in the Chesapeake Bay. So,
True.
You know, yeah.
All right.
All right, wait, is it mine?
No, I got another one here
Okay.
from Sharita. She's asking, are the islands very populated? That's a good question. The islands here in Alaska, are they very populated? Well, we've been to a few that are totally unpopulated, like that Walrus Island from episode 1. The only people that live there are people that visit, like I did, and a couple rangers during the summertime. But other than that, it's all walrus all the time.
Right. Here's an interesting question.
But there are populated islands like Kodiak Island has a population, and it has a city, Kodiak City, plus the big Kodiak bears. You'll see them in episode 3, hopefully.
All right, now Sam has a great question about, can salmon sharks live in Alaskan rivers? Well, salmon sharks are really cool. They come in after the salmon. They eat salmon out in the ocean, and then they follow them in close to the fresh water. And it's a great place for them because in the ocean there, where the salmon are coming in, they can catch a lot of them. But they don't really venture far up rivers, not into the real freshwater parts. Now, bull sharks will go into freshwater, but not so much salmon sharks. All right, this is another good question from Brian. Would a penguin survive and be happy in Alaska? That is a great question. Actually, we did a whole Wild Kratts episode on that called The Mystery of the North Pole Penguin, ? So you can check that out, but I will give you the answer right now. No, penguins would not survive here. There are too many land predators, brown bears, wolves, and everything. Penguin cannot get away from them when they're out of the water. That's why they live in Antarctica, where there are no land predators. Great question.
Excellent. Okay, and okay,
I got some more.
Then we have one here from Kendra, and she asks, why do walruses pile up on one another? That's such a good question. It's weird. They seem to like to get close together, like when you saw them on that Walrus Island, you know, and nobody really knows why. They just seem to always, people have studied them, and I think it's about 80% or 90% of the time, a walrus is touching another walrus when it's resting on the beach. They do sometimes fight for position though, and they jab at each other with their tusks. The more dominant walrus will say, jab with its tusk, saying, hey, move over, buddy, give me some space.
All right, now Jennifer asks, what do salmon eat in the ocean? Now salmon, when they're out in the ocean, they're getting bigger, and they eat small fish, maybe some shrimp, different marine creatures that they can fit in their mouths. And now we have our last question from James. What is the difference between an Arctic wolf and a gray wolf? All right, they are two different kinds of wolves. They have different populations. The gray wolves live in the north, but a little farther south, and you saw them today. They will eat salmon, and they also prey on moose and caribou. Now, the Arctic wolf lives up in the Arctic tundra, where there really aren't any trees, and they feed on a lot of rodents, and also might together try to tackle muskox. Great questions, everybody.
Yeah, these are really great questions. Keep them coming, and be sure to tune in this coming Sunday for the last episode of Wild Alaska Live. It's gonna be a great one.
Yeah, and don't forget about our Wild Kratts 1 hour special, right? Hero's Journey, which is all about the salmon migration. You can check that out because that's going to be re-airing as well.
Yeah, so we'll see you next Sunday for the last episode of Wild Alaska Live. Bye-bye.